Hello. You might have some idea about what today's story is going to be after that song that we just had. But before we have the story, I've got a little competition for you. I'm going to give you a minute to write down as many things to do with bread, as many types of bread, as many things that you make out of bread. I'm going to give you 1 minute. So I'm going to stop this, and then you're to go off and you're going to get a pencil and a piece of paper, and then you're going to time yourself for a minute, and I promise you I will time myself for a minute, and we will see if you get as many things to do with bread as I do. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, here it is. In a minute, these are all the things I wrote down. I'm going to read them out, and if you've got them on your list, you don't get a point, and I don't get a point. But if you have something, once I've rattled through this list, if you have something or some things that I don't have on my list, you get the point. See how many points you get. Okay, so I had brown bread, white bread, rolls, sourdough, a baguette, a bagel, pita bread, a croissant, toast, pain au chocolat, pain au raisin, fruit bread, crumpets, and flatbread. Did you get anything else? Bet you did. It's quite hard. About halfway through, I couldn't really think of anything else after that. I had to sit for a bit. But I wonder how many you got. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I got 14, which I thought was pretty good actually, but it made my writing really messy because I had to write really fast. Well, the last piece of bread, flatbread, is what we talked about last week. And maybe you've even made some flatbread last week. I hope so. It's really nice, especially if you've got something to dip it in. So, today's story is, of course, about Jesus and the little boy with the bread and the fish. Now, I'm not sure if you can see up by the clock, but I'm going to get the thing from the clock and bring it back down and show you what it is. It's that piece of, well, it's not the same piece of flatbread, it's a piece of flatbread. So, when the little boy brought the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, this is probably all he brought. 5 little flatbreads that looked like that. Now that is, we know it's a miracle, but maybe sometimes you don't even think about just how tiny that was. Now I bet you think you know the whole story about the little boy with 5 loaves and the 2 fish and the 1 basket. But I think there are some things that you might have missed about the story. So let's go right back to the beginning. Why were all those people there without any food? Well, I'll tell you for why. Because a lot of them just turned up and heard Jesus talking. Now, I don't know about you, but have you ever been somewhere where there is like a magician or something in the streets, or a comedian or something like that, or somebody juggling, and people stop for a few minutes and they just watch the act that's on the streets, and they watch for a little while and then they wander off. Some people sit down and they watch for quite a while. And some people watch for the whole bit of the magician or the juggler's spiel, and then they wait and they put some money in the hat afterwards, or they just disappear just before he asks for some money. But some people sit for quite a long time, some people don't sit at all, some people just go past. But in this case, people sat down and they stayed for ages and ages. In the Bible, it says that the disciples came to Jesus and they said, it's getting dark. So they'd been there all day because Jesus was talking and teaching and healing, and they couldn't bear to take themselves away from him. So that's why they probably didn't have any food with them. So when the disciples came and said it was getting dark, they didn't say straight away to Jesus, do you know, what will we do? Will we try and get something? Will we send them home? What will we do? They said, we don't know what to do. There's nowhere for us to buy it. Nobody can buy any food. What shall we do? Jesus. See, the first thing they did was they came to Jesus and asked for help. And Jesus said, well, you go and find out what to do. So off the disciples went. Now here's another bit of the story you might not have thought about. The disciples must have wandered round lots and lots and lots of people saying, have you got any food? Have you got any food? Have you got anything? And then they came to the one little boy. Now I've said that people wouldn't have had food, but maybe some of them did. And maybe some of them thought, oh well, no, I'm not going to be willing to give anybody my food. But that little boy who had 5 little bits of bread and 2 teeny weeny fish was ready to share. Now that's the first bit that's great about this story. That little boy had very little, but he was willing to share his very little. And then the next bit of the story that you might not know. One of the disciples brought the little boy all the way to Jesus. Now that was Andrew. Andrew brought the little boy to Jesus. Now, you might have thought that coming up when you've got thousands of people round about you and saying to Jesus, well, I've found somebody who's willing to share his 5 loaves and 2 fish. You might have thought that Jesus would just laugh or say, well, what am I supposed to do with 5 little tiny loaves? But you know what's lovely? Andrew could trust. He could trust Jesus not to laugh at him. He could trust that Jesus would see the little boy and Jesus would do something, because Andrew didn't just trust, Andrew had faith. Now, where did Andrew's trust and faith take him, along with the little boy who was ready to share? Well, it took them to one of the most famous miracles, because Jesus took the 5 pieces of bread and he looked up to heaven and he broke the bread and he asked his Father to bless it and to help him. All those thousands of people saw Jesus ask his Father in heaven to do something for all the people. And he broke the bread, and he broke it again, and he broke it again, and he broke it again, and he went on breaking it, and breaking it, and breaking it, until there was so much bread that there were baskets and baskets and baskets of bread. So much bread that everybody on the hillside got fed, and there was still 12 baskets left of bread. Everybody was full up, and that is an amazing miracle where the little boy started off by being willing to share. And the thing is, Jesus didn't turn Andrew away, he didn't laugh at Andrew, he didn't turn the little boy away, and he didn't turn the little boy's small amount of bread away. Jesus never turns anyone away. And so because of that, all those people were fed. And they went home and they remembered that they had seen an amazing miracle. And that is a wonderful story. But that's not the end of the wonderful story. Something else happened. You see, what happened was Jesus had spent all day teaching and healing, and he was tired. And so he left the place where all the people were, and he got in a boat and he went away over to the other side of the Lake of Galilee. But the people found out where he was, and they all trotted round, followed him, And the next time they saw him, they were asking for more bread, for more healing. They wanted him to go on doing and doing and doing. And Jesus said something that is really, really important. He said, you know, you're coming to me a bit like people come to street magicians. You think I'm going to do something and you can just sit for a little while and then go away and maybe not even think about me anymore. And you want to be able to ask me for bread. Just like the people who followed Moses, they got bread every single day, and you think that's what I'm going to do. You know the story of Elijah. You know the story of the widow and how she got bread, new bread every morning. And that's what you think I'm here for. But that's not what I'm here for. You see, if you have some of this kind of bread, you'll eat it and you'll be full. But the next day, you'll need more. And you'll have to make more, or buy more, or find more. But that's not what I'm about. I'm something that you need every single day. But you don't have to buy, you don't have to make, you don't have to bring. Because what I can give you can go right into your soul, into your heart, just like bread. And you can have my love, my care, and my spirit every day. I'm like bread for your heart and soul. But I will never run out, and you will never be sitting on a hillside, hungry and not knowing what to do. If you have me in your life, I will be there every day, supporting you and helping you, and being like your daily bread. Now there's a prayer, and I think you might know that there's a line in it that says, give us this day our daily bread. Now it is asking God to take care of us and to make sure that we're not hungry. But I think it's also about saying, give us Jesus and his love every day in our hearts. Give us this day our daily bread, our part of Jesus, to be with us and to support us and to give us faith and as someone we can trust. And then when we have faith, we can share our faith with others, because we will have Jesus in our hearts, just like our daily bread. There's a part of the story that perhaps you didn't know about the feeding of 5,000 people. So after that story, I think there's only one prayer that we can pray. Let's all pray it together. It's the Lord's Prayer. Sometimes it's called the family prayer. So close your eyes and we'll say the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our sins as we forgive those who sin against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For yours is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. So the next time you say that prayer, you think about that little boy and his bread, and you think about how Jesus never, ever, ever turns anyone away. And I'll see you next week.